day
election.
after elections.
And it was dated May 9th on the
Wow.
state.
Well, that's not uncommon from what's been happening, but we got to hold these leaders accountable, who are supposed to be leading, and I have to, Matt had goes on to Senator Ossoff, this commitment to making sure that we hold people accountable. Yeah. Many of our seniors, going to the mailbox every day. Many seniors, that's the only outlet they have. And when you take that away from them, this is an egregious act of, irresponsibility that I've never seen.
Just be careful with our words.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now that we're done.
I heard you say he asked you to come, so I was wondering
Yes.
if I got a picture of you. I wanted to make sure I knew who you were.
Here it comes. Good afternoon.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Mayor, nice to see you all. Just want to give you guys a sec to get your sound check and your shot set, and just give me a thumbs up when you are ready to go. Okay, well, thank you for joining me this afternoon here at the Palmetto facility. Today's message is maximum pressure. Maximum pressure. I will continue to apply maximum pressure to hold the Postmaster General accountable for his obligation to my constituents. I will continue to apply maximum pressure so that seniors in Georgia are not going without prescriptions, so that small businesses in Georgia are not unable to receive supplies or get products to market, so that voters in Georgia are not unable to cast their ballots timely by mail. Today's message is maximum pressure. I will continue to apply maximum pressure on Postmaster General DeJoy to improve the abysmal performance of the Postal Service here in Georgia. Let me reiterate something that I've made clear throughout this inquiry and throughout this period of abysmal performance by the Postal Service in Georgia. I know and believe that postal workers across our state are working their hearts out every day with the best intentions and a commitment to public service. This is not on postal workers. Postal workers have tough jobs. This is a question of management, competent management. I today inspected this facility. I sat down with local USPS leaders to gain additional information about the causes of abysmal performance in Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. And what became even clearer is that this transition for our region was not well thought through, not well planned, and not competently executed. That's why at the time of the Homeland Security Committee hearing about a month and a half ago, you'll recall that first-class on-time delivery performance was about 36%. Now, Postmaster General DeJoy has stated that there has been substantial improvement in on-time delivery. What remains to be seen is whether that will stick, whether that will continue, whether timely service will be restored to the level of expectation that Georgians have for the Postal Service. So once again, let me just restate, I will continue to apply maximum pressure. I will continue to apply maximum pressure on Postmaster General DeJoy to fix what's broken. And then there's a broader conversation that needs to be had about how a process this complex was allowed to proceed with such inadequate preparation and incompetent management to begin with. But right now I'm focused on folks getting their mail on time. Okay, questions?
Senator Ossoff, I just lost my
Do you think that they cleaned it up for your visit? And did you see anything that explains what's going on?
Look, when a member of Congress visits any facility, I just spent the last couple of days at the U.S.-Mexico border inspecting Customs and Border Protection and Border Patrol and State Department facilities. When a member of Congress visits any facility, it's always prudent to assume that there's been some preparation for your arrival. My assessment, based upon the information that my office and I have collected at this time, both today's inspection, today's interviews with local leadership, and all the work we've been doing in Washington, is that this is a failure of management to competently execute a transition across this region, which centralizes this facility in the network at the same time as multiple other facilities are renovated and converted. And it was not properly planned for. It was not properly managed. There was no one in charge. And the results have been devastating for Georgians.
Senator Ossoff, Rob Urienza with Fox 5 here. I'm curious, do you think at this point Louis DeJoy should lose his job?
Well, here's the thing about the Postmaster General, is that the Postmaster General cannot be fired by the President. The Postmaster General cannot be fired by the Congress. The Postmaster General can only be fired by the Board of Governors of the U.S. Postal Service. I have extraordinarily low confidence in the Postmaster General based upon the incompetent management of this transition that's ongoing in Georgia, the fact that my constituents haven't been getting prescriptions on time, haven't been getting letters on time, businesses haven't been getting supplies on time, ballots have not been arriving at election offices on time, and I will continue to apply maximum pressure on Postmaster General DeJoy to hold him accountable and to improve his performance in Georgia.
What does that pressure look like then?
I will sustain.
I mean, what are the actions you can take or the things you can do as senator?
Well, I think that you've seen over the last few months a robust and unrelenting level of scrutiny that my staff and I have placed on Postmaster General DeJoy and the USPS institutionally in order to ensure that their feet are held to the fire and they're held accountable for failures and held accountable to improve performance, and that will continue. And this visit today was part of that. At this point, it is impossible to speculate about what network-wide performance will be at that time. You heard the Postmaster General make a commitment to me at the Homeland Security Committee hearing that he would restore on-time delivery to its prior level within 60 days of that hearing. That deadline is fast approaching. We're monitoring the numbers week by week, and I'm going to continue applying maximum pressure on Postmaster General DeJoy to improve their performance in Georgia.
What's your expectation, though, when it comes to...
I'll come to you in just a moment.
What's your expectation, though, moving a little closer to the June runoffs? You've got CEO, you've got sheriff, third congressional. What is the expectation there? And did local leaders talk about, right now they're at 60%, about when they think they could get back to 80%, 90% where they were before?
Yes, the local and regional staff with whom I spoke today stated that they believed they would meet that mid-June deadline for a restoration of on-time delivery to its level prior to this transition. Now, that's simply what they're saying. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm looking for results and sustained results. And that's why maximum pressure is required. That's why my team and I will remain unrelenting in demanding answers, in not just myself but my staff, interviewing USPS personnel, visiting USPS facilities, and demanding continued updates in terms of the data that reflects their performance. Yes, ma'am.
You said you've been watching the numbers. What is significant improvement? What have you been seeing, and what are people should they expect?
USPS states that from a low in March of on-time delivery in the low 30%, that they're now around 60%. 60% is still abysmal. We're talking about the mail being delivered on time. What Postmaster General DeJoy committed to me in public, under oath, at a Senate hearing about a month and a half ago was that he would restore on-time delivery to its level pre-transition within 2 months of that hearing. That'd be mid-June.
Did you learn anything today about new management? I know that you don't think the current management is doing well. Did they say anything about bringing new people in or retraining? Or
We had an in-depth discussion about the fundamentals of managing a complex project such as this one. And what was clear was that as they have undertaken this transition, particularly in the early months, no individual was in charge with responsibility for executing this competently. Postmaster General DeJoy and his management team had not seriously grappled with the implications of trying to do all of this at once. They had not seriously grappled with the retraining that would be necessary in order for staff to become comfortable in a new facility and on new equipment. And they badly underestimated how disruptive this would be to the timely delivery of mail in the metro area. I continue to investigate those underlying causes, but my first priority is putting maximum pressure on the Postmaster General to restore on-time delivery of mail to my constituents. Okay, Rahul, let me just get 11 alive, and then I'll come back to you. Okay? Yes.
We've had a couple postal workers sending us pictures inside showing just kind of chaos and mess. What was it like in there today? Did the systems and automation seem to be working? Can you just describe, what you saw when you were walking through?
There were no obvious and immediately apparent and highly visible examples of malfunction. We were not here at peak operating hours for the facility. Much of the activity at the sort of industrial scale takes place overnight. Really, the most significant benefit of today's visit was the opportunity to sit down with the local management and local leadership and ask them tough, direct questions about how the problems that have been so systemically encountered throughout this transition were not anticipated and not properly managed through.
Sir, do you know why we weren't allowed inside with you?
We encouraged USPS to grant press access. That's a decision that they make, and you should put that question to them. Yes, Rowan, I get a follow-up.
What should runoff voters do should vote absentee or not?
Well, look, in addition to prescriptions not arriving on time, in addition to businesses not getting supplies when they need to, what's more fundamental than participation in our democracy? I would encourage folks who plan to vote by mail to do so as early as possible and to vigilantly monitor the progress of their ballot or make plans to vote early in person.
Have you spoken with the Postmaster General since that hearing to follow up to see if he thinks that deadline is still possible?
We've exchanged correspondence. My staff is in daily contact with his staff. I've not had a follow-up conversation with him directly yet. I would refer you to USPS on specific staffing level questions.
Now what? Just more pressure?
Not just more pressure. Yes, more pressure. More relentless pressure on behalf of my constituents to sustain the improvement of on-time mail delivery. I have an obligation to Georgians to stand up for them when they're not being treated fairly or properly by a government agency. USPS is letting Georgians down. It is my role, it is my obligation, it is my duty to hold them accountable. And yes, that will mean maximum pressure will be sustained. We will continue to ask tough questions. We will continue to demand data. We will continue to put these questions directly to the Postmaster General.
What would you say to the people who are writing in saying they've lost faith in the post office, they've lost faith in Congress in being able to fix this situation?
It is completely understandable that Georgians would have a loss of confidence in the U.S. Postal Service on the basis of USPS performance in Georgia over the last couple of months. And what I'm focused on is putting maximum pressure on the Postal Service to restore timely delivery of mail, using every power and authority that I have as a member of the United States Senate. Rahul, I see you hungry for another one. You get the last question, Rahul. Go ahead.
Are you cool with off topic or?
Sure, fire. We'll do one off-topic question, and then we're gonna.
Ask about your trip to the border.
Okay, why don't we do a little step aside and talk about that? Okay, let me just restate in case I wasn't abundantly clear. Today's message is that I will sustain relentless and maximum pressure on the U.S. Postal Service to improve their performance in serving my constituents in Georgia. All right? Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, try there. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, just follow them. Hey, Austin.